Hello, little ones. Would you like to hear a story? I've got one for you. From Rolling with Remix. Long ago, the land of Irion was a land of plenty, and many wanted to lay claim to its riches. When those who lived in Irion could no longer agree on who held what, civil war broke out across the entire realm, until the kobolds, in desperation to keep their kingdom afloat, summoned the dark and terrible Dragotha. The great dragon cared not for the alliances constantly made and broken across Irion, and razed many of its great cities to the ground, until a last desperate alliance finally slew the titanic worm. With no one in any shape to continue the fight, an armistice was reached, and the Great War ended. But tensions were still on the rise. 30 years later, a ragtag group of adventurers, who met at a harvest festival and joined forces to look for the missing mentor of one of their band, were hired by a mysterious old man to travel to the great city-states of Irion and perform acts of heroism that those in power would not approve of. But those same acts served to heighten tensions across the land, and the old man, secretly a scheming mind flayer, revealed that once more Irion had fallen into a great civil war. Now, with militaries and dark powers on the rise, our heroes gather their forces in hopes of saving what they can before Irion once more falls into ruin. Momo, the Aarakocra cleric.
You're my friend. You're my family. And I'll protect you at all costs.
Corellian, the kobold paladin.
I will not make the same mistakes again.
Malifane, the half-elf rogue.
I won't stand idle. Not while people's lives are at stake.
Oh, this should be fun.
Quintessa, the human fighter.
You shouldn't be surprised. Everyone is out for themselves in the end.
And Scam Likely, the goblin artificer.
There are three constants: death, taxes, and my ability to dodge both.
Unprepared though they might be, our heroes find themselves at the front lines of a great battle to save the fallen empires. Last time on Rolling with Remix, Fallen Empires. Having reunited with Thavagath, the party celebrated in the way they knew best how to do. Get absolutely wasted and in a drinking contest. Scam miraculously won against Thavagath pretty handily, but Thavagath was not done drinking and kept on doing it. After the contest, the party asked Thav if he was ready to come back to them, but he pointed out that, given his tendency to get mind-controlled or charmed, and the fact that they were facing Rankol, a mind flayer, he would be a liability. But he was willing to return to Batonrance to help Maggie with the guards, and help take care of the baby Aarakocra. Momo was of course upset at the news, but Thavagath gave him the Silver Raven Animal Messenger token to summon Thavagath whenever he was needed. At which point he promptly broke into Quintessa's tent, freed Monkey, who was in fact a toad, and sent him off on a caravan heading into the Dead Marshes. The next morning, after spending an inordinate amount of time mourning the lost toad, and confirming with the Underhill King that some dwarves indeed were heading for Batonrance to supplement its defenses, our heroes finally began their long road home. On the way there, they found a cave guarded by undead, and heard some ragged breathing from inside after defeating the guards, but decided not to investigate further. Quintessa and Malifane had a talk about children and whether they were ready to be a family, and eventually, on their trek through the desert, they found a fort set on a cliff by the road. A fort that was being held by one of the leaders of the Four Kings mercenary group, the Queen of Clubs. Investigating and asking what the fort was for, they found that the Queen was setting up a raiding party on Blind Vault, which had recently been taken over by Okiti. Quintessa volunteered the entire party's services to go and take Blind Vault back, but the rest of the party was definitely not for this plan, and after blowing up at each other, everyone decided to discuss this elsewhere and left the mercenaries to their devices. Corellian had a chat with Trevlon's book, wondering what exactly Corellian could do to keep the party together since Trevlon was so good at it, even though Trevlon obviously could not hear the kobold. Malifane, for his purposes, prayed to Elistrate for his own guidance as to how to keep the party together, but, of course, found silence. Everyone talked and apologized to, frankly, the wrong people about the incident that led to the fight, culminating in Scam asking Momo if he knew how much a hitman cost in Irion. Finally, however, after a long and very tense journey, our heroes made it back to Baton Rents to collapse in exhaustion for the night after their long, long time away from home. What awaits them in the grounds of Baton Rents Hall? Do they even have the money to do any renovation? And will they apologize for this spat, only to have another bout of bullshit drive them apart later? Find out on tonight's episode of Rolling with Remix, Fallen Empires. Hello and welcome to Rolling with Remix, Fallen Empires. I am your host, Alex, and tonight we're actually going to be debating the best Tom and Jerry movie we possibly can. Joining me is my usual cast of players. We have Atwis.
Tom and Jerry in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
We have Jojo.
Tom and Jerry in Clockwork Orange.
We have Queen.
Tom and Jerry Passion of the Christ.
And we have Xander.
Give me a second. I forgot my ace in the hole. So I'm just gonna go with Tom and Jerry in a Siberian film.
It's a Serbian film, you motherfucker!
Serbian! Fuck! I keep saying Siberian, motherfucker, Serbian. What was the one I said before?
Full Metal.
Shoot! We're gonna spend the whole session.
I said a lot. Okay, so Tom and Jerry in the Blair Witch Project. There you go.
Tom and Jerry
that's
Blair
one
Witch
of them.
Project. All right.
Serbian film though is the ace in the hole.
A Serbian film's the ace in the hole. I will offer up Tom and Jerry, 12 Years a Slave.
We were just saying all of these on the break, and honestly, there are some in there that I would actually pay really good money to see.
Like Tom and Jerry in Home Alone. That one would be
Yes,
freaking
that's
great.
actually a good one. That's
Hey,
good.
who is this other person in call with us?
Boom stuff.
Who has not said her Tom and Jerry movie? It's you. It's you, Queen.
No,
I said it!
yeah, you said
Yeah, she said it.
She said it.
it was Passion of the Christ, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Passion of the Christ, which is
Tom and Jerry.
actually fantastic.
Tom and Jerry
Listen,
Passion of New Eve.
I like to think of who would be where in these movies. So Tom and Jerry, Passion of the Christ, Tom would be a Roman soldier during that movie. It's without
would
a
be-
question.
Jerry would be on the cross.
No, Jerry would be one of the fucking disciples of Jesus or something.
Yeah.
Like it was, but God,
Jerry would be the unrepentant thief who is crucified next to Jesus.
Oh my
but
god.
But Tom and Jerry in Home Alone is actually, in my opinion, a really fun idea. Because, okay, I'll be honest with you. I hate the Tom and Jerry in XYZ movies, like the Wizard of Oz and the
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. They're terrible because they're just rehashing the old movies, literally
Really?
one-to-one
Honestly.
copies
Yeah.
that they just insert Tom and Jerry into. However, if they had to do one, Home Alone would be a great choice because Tom would be with the burglars, Jerry would be with Kevin. It would work out really, really well. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Fun.
One more before we go into Fallen Empires, though. Tom and Jerry, Schindler's List.
Why?
E.
E.
You don't even get an F. You get the letter before F. E.
E. All right. So, when last we left off on Fallen Empires, after a long trek back from many, many different adventures across the land of Irion, our heroes have finally returned to Baton Rance Hall. And as per usual, when they return to Baton Rance Hall, they're mad at each other, because of course they are. It's the Fallen Empires party. It is.
What time is it again?
It is like evening. Sun is set by now.
Cool, I'm going to bed. Fuck everything.
Everyone else going to bed?
I'm gonna shower first.
No.
Okay.
Scam's not gonna go to bed yet, because there's something Scam needs to do. But I'll let everyone else state their intention before I go.
Oh wait, before I go, I'll turn to Corelli and ask what we're going to do with the book.
Oh, right. Carlin sort of like reaches into their pack and sort of gingerly takes out the book and offers it to Quintessa. Well, we can't keep it in the library anymore.
No.
Shit. Did we have a vault built? I'll check in. Maybe we should get something built for important things like the book and
Yeah.
Do you want to hang on to it or
No, I think it's better you have it for now.
all right. Sure. Wow, being entrusted with one of Quintessa's charges, I'll be very, very careful with it. I promise.
You do, in
I know
fact,
you
have
will.
a vault at Batman's Hall. Nominally, it is used to hold your wealth so that you're not carrying around thousands of gold pieces, but it can be used to, like, put the book inside.
Yeah. In that case, first order of business would be for Caroline to put the book and also a certain jar containing a certain soul in the vault, and then make a mental note of we really need to talk about seeing if we can get some extra security added to this because oh gods above, I don't want to lose either of them. But apart from that, wow, Momo, bathhouse sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, no kidding. I'll meet you guys there then.
Yeah, you guys have fun with that bathhouse. Just, good night, everyone.
Yeah, sleep well.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of subtly gives a concerned look at Scam and then nods his head and walks away.
Yeah, like Scam returns the look, and just as soon as Momo turns away, you kind of like Scam like lingers there, hand in his pockets before he walks off towards Batman's the house proper, I should say.
All right.
Yeah. I'll just like tow Malifane away with me.
Malifane is currently in idle pose, and he's just going along with Quintessa.
Correction, Malifane is glitch T-posing. That is my canon right now.
No, he's just sitting there because he just got shot. Duh.
I used like the Gmod gun to move him with me.
Okay, you win.
So, Momo, I presume, once we get done in the bathhouse, Caroline sort of lingers afterwards, and it's getting really late at this point, but I don't really know what better time to approach Momo at this point. You want to take a walk real quick? I'm not really tired.
He kind of leans down. Me neither. Let's go.
Yeah, sure. The two of them will sort of meander through like the outer gardens and stuff, through the rose gardens, and just Carlene sort of at multiple times has looked like they're gonna say something, but then finally they spit it out after a while and just, Momo, are you all right?
He blinks for a second. I think I am, actually. Well, he kind of pulls out his shirt a little. Now there's some things I'm worried about, but now I think I'm at a point that I haven't been in a really long time. And, I think I'm okay. What about you?
Carlin sort of waves a claw. I'm fine. I just, I've been thinking about, everything, about all this, about the party, and about how we all interact with one another, and I just,
Me too.
Well, I guess I realized that after Krellin sort of like tilts their head up at Momo, we never really talked about it, after the whole thing down below Murdeal, after Arias died. You never really talked about it ever again. You never really spoke about it
There was
whatsoever.
never really a time to bring it up, or... It's weird. I don't really think about it, but I do have nightmares sometimes, but who wouldn't, you know?
Yeah, of course. Who wouldn't? I mean, dragons are terrifying. The whole situation was a nightmare. I'm sorry I didn't ask you earlier, Momo.
He had a lot of other obligations to tend to, so I understand.
Yeah, well, either way, if there's ever anything that you need to, or fuck, if you just want to talk about, let me know, and we can always make the time, alright? Even if we're on the road, even if, other shit is happening, I always want to make time for you and for anyone else. It's not much. It's not much at all, and I know that it was never really my place, but
It's more than you think, and I really do appreciate it. You know you can come to me as well if you ever need to blow off some steam.
yeah, of course. Well, Carlin sort of like takes a deep breath and looks around.
Elmo looks at one of the, looks up at the roses, and isn't this where you come whenever you need to clear your mind and think?
Oh, I'm that transparent, huh?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's a nice place to decompress, so...
It is. Carlin sort of like gently takes a budding rose between his claws and sort of just strokes the petals a little bit. It is a nice place. I'm glad I ordered it. Roses were always her favorite.
In Hespera?
Yeah.
What was she
Hespera.
like, if you don't mind me asking?
She was... She was wonderful. She was a druid. She was kind. She was fierce. She had a stubborn streak a mile wide, and she was lovely. She always actually used to say that when it came to roses, her favorite parts weren't ever the flower, but it was the thorn. She always loved that even the most beautiful and gentle things had ways to protect themselves. And, I miss her a lot.
Sorry you don't get to talk about her as often.
No,
wonderful.
it's fine. Carlin sort of like clutches at their chest a little bit where the scar is from the arrow. No, I kind of figure it's sort of like with you and Darius, where it's a lot, so it's difficult. It's nice, but it's, yeah. Thank you for asking.
Yes. No, you did the same for me.
Yeah, of course.
when I was younger, whenever I had any nightmares and wake up in terror, and Rise would come in and he would just talk to me, ask me about what I saw, and hold me down and let me lay on his lap and just lulled me to sleep with his soft voice. Really knew how to calm me down and make me feel relaxed.
And, sounds like he really loved you, and you loved him. When it,
With you and
come-
Countess? Spura.
yeah, no. When it comes to people like us, I don't think we ever imagine a life without the other. I mean, elves, we live so long, I was always prepared for the opposite to happen, you know? But here we are, both being the one that survived.
Will kind of takes a deep breath and finds a little stone bench and sits down and taps right next to him.
Yeah, Curlin will sit down.
A nice night.
It is. It really is. Thank you for sharing it with me.
Thank you for asking. Come out here and look. I definitely needed it after the trip we've had.
Yeah, of course. Curlin sort of slings an arm around Momo and gives him a little half hug. Well,
Will wraps wing around him as like a side hug.
we can walk for a little while longer, but it's been a long road and we should probably get some rest.
See you in the morning then.
Sounds good. See you in the morning.
Alright. So Momo and Corellian head off to bed. Scam, what are you doing?
I want to go to the workshop.
Okay.
Scam enters the door, opens through the door and steps into the workshop. Presumably, is the hour late?
The hour is quite late, yes.
So it's empty right now.
It is currently empty, yes.
Kind of Scam pushes in and closes the door behind him, reaches up and ka-chung, slides the deadbolt into place on the workshop's door. Kind of like looks around, takes off one by one, unbuckles his armor plating, and then takes off his shabby coat jacket, drapes it over a nearby chair, unbuttons the cuffs of his right sleeve, and like rolls the shirt all the way up to his like elbow, does it on the other arm, kind of like stands there for a moment, like, looking around, gives this heavy sigh, and then just unbuttons his vest, pulls off the bow tie, and actually then decides to unbutton the shirt entirely and take it off. So just he's just standing there, bare chested, and kind of just like looks like holds up his right arm, the one that is almost like that's burned and blackened and scarred. As it gets closer to the hand, it's more like obsidian with like this red glowing energy underneath of it. Kind of like looks at that very intensely, and then he walks over to like grabs like I Scam probably has some kind of hip flask, grabs that and like takes like a large deep swig from the hip flask and like walks over to through like and begins to just pull out various bits of supplies. He grabbed a wooden dowel and some like rubber tubing, and then goes over to the workshop bandsaw, which probably is like a foot powered bandsaw, one of those like table blades, and looks at his arm again and just says, "We move past this. You are dead. You are irrelevant. I don't need you anymore. All you are is a reminder of your tainted power upon the world. And I am smarter than you." He puts the wooden dowel between his teeth and then uses the copper tubing to wrap a tourniquet around where his arm meets his shoulder. And then he begins to pump the workshop bandsaw. Scam cuts his right arm off.
Yo!
And then from there, through the rest of the night, he assembles, with my replacement infusion, a prosthetic magical arm. That once he's completed working on this, it is now, there is kind of like this like mount socket on his shoulder joint where he can now click 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 like plug an arm into its socket. And now I have the prosthetic arm magic. And yeah.
Excellent. Now you can join the one-arm crew here in Fallen Empire.
Exactly. I'm building towards the rocket propelled fist upgrade.
I cast fist!
I'm building I cast fist, exactly. But yeah, after all that, Scam is pale. He is sweaty. There are dark, heavy bags under his eyes. And he like takes the cut off, discarded, burned Dragatha arm. And he just kind of like holds and like regards it for a long while. And then he just throws it into the forge, and lets it just burn in the fucking fire. And then yeah, he plugs his new arm into its socket. You know, it's made of like it's like made out of like burnished wood and copper, and like bits of it have like porcelain decoration on it. It's actually a bit like nice. He kind of like tests the fingers one by one, just goes kind of like, and then wraps his hand around his arcane firearm, and just kind of like feels it. And yeah, and then he puts his shirt back on. He's got a little blood spattering here and there. Reties his bow tie, puts his vest back on, swings the jacket back over it. And by now it's probably dawn, so I will willingly take a point of exhaustion for staying up all night.
Cool.
Yeah, I will go out to get breakfast after my work is done. I work through the night on my prosthetic arm.
Nice. It is, in fact, breakfast time as I roll for what's for breakfast. Okay. Breakfast is sausage today for anyone who is coming down to eat.
I assume Corellian and Momo are already there, like, having a nice conversation about whatever, and maybe sharing anecdotes and cracking a couple jokes and just having a jolly time and vibing.
Exactly. Just nice vibes.
I think Quintessa will skip and go to the library instead.
Okay.
Mal, I think, will come down, and he'll probably bring some food to Quintessa.
Alright. So, those of you who are at the breakfast table, sitting down, eating some sausage, Bert comes over, passing by the table with the plate, just double take seeing you all. Alright, so what happened this time?
Lot.
Well, did a bunch of dwarves show up?
A couple days ago, actually, like 2 or 3, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it was, good. Thank you for the, sending, by the way.
Yeah,
just sort of
they're still kind of pissed at each other. Honestly, kind of impressive how long two of the hobgoblins have been in the infirmary. Remind me to never, ever piss off Maggie.
Oh, gods above. Thank you for letting me know. I'll go talk to Maggie at our my first convenience, which will be right after breakfast.
Yes, how is she doing right now?
She's riding the recruits super hard. Honestly, probably taking her frustration and aggression out on them. If you're gonna check on people, I'd say go for it. There are a lot of people here at the hall who you haven't talked to in quite some time, frankly speaking.
I'm gonna go after we eat, and I think I'm gonna go check on chicken bait.
All right. And of course, feel free to take the time to talk to each other because, it seems like every time you come back here, everyone's pissed at everyone else and is apologizing to all the wrong people until eventually, over breakfast or lunch or dinner or whatever, someone blows up and says some shit like, well, I'm sorry I crapped in your tuba, but you were the one wearing an I don't believe in giraffe shirt, so this is cause for us to yell at each other. And frankly, it's getting a little old.
You have to call us out like this, Bert.
Yeah, if the circumstances were appropriate, I'd say we should take a vacation.
One day we'll all have vacation time. Oh gods, that'll be glorious.
Good morning, everybody. Just kind of saunter into the breakfast. Just walk in.
Colin looks towards the door, then points towards the upstairs where Scam obviously did not come from, and just, what, you have an early start on things, or?
It's more of a late. I'm running on minimal sleep. I was just doing some work. What's for breakfast?
Sausage.
Tasty.
You,
Full disclosure, Scam still has the he's still wearing his traditional black shooting gloves, so no one can tell right now.
I was about to ask.
Other than him walking around with his immense balls right now, nobody can really tell the difference.
Does he look exhausted? Does he look like
He's pale, a little anemic looking, bags under his eyes. But other than that, pretty just much the same. But yeah, no, he's visibly exhausted.
Have you been up all night?
Yes. Technically, yes, I have been.
You a coffee drinker?
It depends on how strong it is, but sure.
He passes him a glass.
Takes it.
Of coffee.
So, what are we talking about?
We were just hanging out.
Yeah, chatting. I was actually about to ask Bert how much it would be to add additional security onto our vault.
Upgrade the vault. Let me do a little bit of quick math here. He pulls out clipboard, starts writing down stuff.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Yeah.
So the standalone vault right now costs about 900 gold. To make it super reinforced would involve taking it slightly out of commission so you couldn't put stuff in it for a couple of days while we do some improvements, and that would be around 1,500.
1,500. That's hefty price. I think
real estate's hefty price.
I'm not sure if we can afford it at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you even in the mood to look at landowning improvements, or do you just not have the cash on you?
We are definitely a little on the more strapped side since our most recent endeavors, which actually, Bert, reminds me, since I'm kind of the new person around here, would you mind helping me out a little bit? Do we have access to anybody who might be involved in the shadier aspects of business? I have some goods I want to sell off to the right buyer, but they're not exactly legal.
Well, currently we do not have any ties with the Thieves Guild of Irion. In fact, that's one of the things you can't really buy. You just need to, let circumstances be in the right sort of thing. I'm not explaining it right, but if this place is a whole lot seedier, that would attract the Thieves Guild's attention.
Right. Well, what's... I don't want to necessarily bring the Thieves Guild attention. I just have... I've collected some poisons and doodads from our travels that I don't personally have use for, and I'd rather sell them for profit.
Actually, we do have a bit of a... Colin sort of lowers their voice and leans over to Scam. We do have an information network that works, out of the tavern. So
Do
if
we?
anyone's asking there.
Actually, that's
Yeah.
really great. Okay, I'll check in with them. They probably have what I'm looking for.
Sounds good.
Yeah. There's always probably going to be some shady individual or, hell, even an academic sort who's interested in buying some sort of potent and unknown poison. Those, neurotoxins, whatever we got from that, weird Anunnaki ruin, yeah, I don't have use for those, but those are probably going to fetch a pretty price in the right circles.
Yeah,
That's a
true.
good
And
point.
personally, might just be me speaking here, but I at least can wash my conscience pretty cleanly of selling poisons to somebody else without knowing what they're going to be used for. So, my property, my purpose.
Actually,
Understandable.
if we were to provide, just spitballing here, Bert, if we were to provide the method of delivery when it comes to building, say, a trap, would we be able to get that done at less of a cost, or no? Because they're selling it, but there's also using it for our own defenses, yeah?
Right. So, like, when you're talking about the method of delivery for a trap, you're talking, like making some sort of, like, tripwire fires off a poison-tipped crossbow bolt and something like that?
Right, or any
Even from the
other
most
sort of
rudimentary standpoint, like a trench
poison
with
gas cloud,
sharpened wooden spikes on it would also suffice, I'm sure.
with
Right.
poisons, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, you could. A lot of the money that goes into setting the trap is, making sure it's reusable, so you don't have to, like, go back, get into Anunnaki territory and say, hey, do you have another neurotoxin I could borrow? Because I don't imagine that's sustainable.
No, I suppose not.
All right, thank you. That's why I asked. You're the expert here.
Right. God, where was I? I was talking about, how you guys should probably, like, catch up to people who work and live around the hall, make sure everything's square with them in case, you get out, you get into another dumb bullshit fight, one of you decides to never come back and they wonder where you've gone, something like that.
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
Seriously, am.
Not to
Yeah.
not to despoil the breakfast conversation, although we are discussing work at the moment, it is worth noting what is our next step here? What's the plan? What are we doing? We're back at Baton Rouge. I think I'm going to enjoy a nice day of relaxation, but I would like to know what we're about to get into next.
Well,
Depends on
Probably-
what's going to happen next. Yes.
I don't think we can predict that, but
Well, yeah.
Look, there's a war on outside. Like, we either get our toes dirty with that, or we go ahead and slap ourselves in some kind of aquatic seafaring vessel and rip this thing root and stem. I'm talking, of course, about the fucking mind flayer.
right. Well, we all need to have an overdue chat sometime, but I think that can wait until we're all far more rested and far more decompressed, perhaps.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
Bert, we got any orange juice around here?
Let me double check if one of the farms is, like, crops and fruit and whatnot.
You have a one fruit farm.
You have, in fact, a crops farm. Like, not ready. You could give the kitchen staff 5 minutes and they can get a fresh one?
Yeah, that's fine. And also some, like, biscuits or crackers, just something, some substance, yeah?
Right, cool. Yeah, definitely.
Scam is, like, visibly dizzy, but not terribly so. Like, so yeah, just some juice and some biscuits. Oh, I'm fine.
Gotcha.
I'm just tired.
I'm always visibly concerned.
Anyone who, I'm not going to prompt this, just do what you want, but anyone who makes a successful med check against Scam, I'm willing to say that you can notice that he is definitely, like, had some blood loss. Like,
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that seems about right.
Scam's had some serious blood loss.
Scam has had some serious blood loss, Momo. Natural 20. You notice there are, like, the tiniest traces of damp red patches around Scam's right shoulder.
What is it, Momo?
Hey, Scam, can we, do you want to run to the kitchen and grab the crackers ourselves? I'm sure they're all really busy.
Oh, that's what we had servants for.
He kind of just, like, ushers him into...
I was in the middle of eating my sauce.
Come on, please, let's just go ahead and get your crackers, and closes the door. Is there anyone in the kitchen right now besides?
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck. Okay. He takes him outside, like beyond the doors of Bat and Rance, and kind of just pulls him to the side. What did you do?
When you say what did I, that's a broad subject, Momo. Let's be honest here.
Scam, you've clearly had a large amount of blood loss, and you don't think I can't see those little blood spatters on your shirt.
Ah, shit, it's gonna be hard to come out. Fuck. Okay, I'm fine. Momo, I'm perfectly fine. Trust me.
Scam.
That's why I'm getting juice and cookies. I'm trying to, rebalance the mojo.
Just tell me. Please.
Fine.
Don't have to sugarcoat shit around me.
It's nothing bad. I'm fine. I just made I did some experiments. Just fine. Scam takes off his jacket and unbuttons his cufflinks and rolls up his sleeve where Momo can see that his entire forearm is just burnished wood, copper, porcelain, and pulls off his glove and he has this mechanical clockwork assembled hand. Kind of just gestures with it. I did some reorganizing of my own personal possessions.
He doesn't look upset. He looks amazed at this.
Scam then pulls the arm off at the shoulder, clink, and waves it around, reattaches it, ka-chunk, clunk, clunk. There. Curiosity satisfied?
Did you cut your own arm off?
Yes. It was incredibly painful.
Oh, no fucking shit, I can't imagine. Can't really ask why, because I can... Oh, why?
Wanted to change the scenery.
Out of character, I don't think Momo knows about Scam's arm. Or his past arm.
Momo surely has seen it before.
Momo was there. Everyone was there when Scam talked about being a guide to Jagatha's lair and having it burned to shit.
Yeah. Change the scenery.
I understand.
Yeah. But I'm working on it still. It's still got some kinks to work out. But I'm getting there. It's very unique.
Looks incredible.
Yeah, I was up all night making it.
It looks like it took you months to make it. The design,
Took me about 5 hours, not to mention the time it took me to properly recover from the blood loss, but
it's kind of
I'm still recovering from.
Kind of pulling the fingers, pressing them together, making them bend and stuff, just wow. Just the
When Momo pulls a finger, Scam uses prestidigitate to make a fart sound. I don't know what you expected.
Neither do I. I'm just happy for you. I don't know, I just wish maybe you would have told me and so that you didn't have to go through that alone or something.
I have medicinal and healing techniques. I respect your talents.
Gestures at his face and.
Yeah, I mean, I respect and trust your abilities as a healer. Well, that is to say, you are able to heal, and I respect that you are able to heal. But I was fine by myself. Listen, I used a tourniquet. I walked through a bunch of steps. I know what I'm doing.
They're clean?
I mean.
Samuel!
Look. There's only so much a goblin can do. Okay, it's fine. Look, it was fine. I attended to the wound. I think I shoved it in a coal fire afterwards just to get most of the bleeding under control. But it was hot enough. But after that, no, it's fine. It's fine. It only hurts a little bit. And I used some compounds and tinctures and the whole 9 yards. I made sure that it's not gonna cause any problems down the line. Put a lot of my practice into this, so it is functional-ish and ready to go. I'm still trying to work on the part where I can punch people from a distance. That's gonna take some time. I'm gonna need some more resources and for that. But soon I should be able to just swing and have it launch off my arm. That would be rad.
Would be really cool.
Yeah. I've always wanted to punch Malifane from half a yard away.
Not gonna laugh at that.
You should, because you were about to, but either way. So yes, in summary, I am fine. And on the long, lengthy list of things I'm going to do that I might regret, this was small potatoes compared to what I'm going to do next. So don't worry, I'm okay.
I trust you.
That was your first mistake, but thank you. I appreciate the sentiment.
Shut up. He kind of twiddles his thumbs a little bit.
So we good to go back inside?
Alright. If I...
Cool. Got a long day of relaxation ahead of us, Momo, and you need to work through some things yourself, so get some extra sausage, and make sure you go vomit the appropriate amount into your bird kids' faces.
I don't do that! I don't have to do that, and I'm not going to do that!
You can't. Do you want me to
Dwarves gave me proper seed and told me to give to
a
them!
mechanical food vomiter for your birdies?
I am not a food vomiter for the kids. I give them the proper nutrients and meat that they need. Thanks to the dwarves, I'm not going to chew it up and into their mouths. That'd be disgusting.
And you're doing it wrong.
In the distance you hear, "No, the proper way is to vomit it, you fucking idiot!"
Do you want your
You
chickens?
do it!
Do you want your chickens to be malnourished?
I'm not going to be malnourished.
Okay, then you need to either throw up in their mouths or have me build something to throw up in their mouths for you.
That would actually be a huge help.
So
What
you
do
know
you need?
those bird dippers?
Yes.
Oi! Curly opens the door. I presume you guys are right outside the front
Yeah.
door. Hits one of you. Oi! Everything alright?
Oh,
Yeah, Scam has since refashioned his sleeve and arm, so his arcane prosthetic is no longer visible. Yeah, we're just shooting the shit.
In the kitchen?
No, we're in the front.
They
we're in
moved
the front
outside.
yard.
Okay.
Right, just wanted to let you know that you're being a little loud, so if the aim was to be somewhere where you weren't going to be heard, it
That
wasn't
didn't work
working.
very well.
We were discussing, and by discussing I mean blatantly arguing, that Momo should be vomiting into the chickens' mouths, because that's how birds...
And then you offered to build something that can do it for me because I don't want to do that.
Well, go to the Tinker's Workshop and talk to Panry for all I care. Fuck.
Yeah. Alternatively, I can spit in their mouths for them. I mean, I'm...
No,
I'm
letting
closing
you
the
get
door
diseases.
now.
No, what's been in there?
Yo, you do not want to know.
I really don't. Anyway, I'm glad you're doing okay.
Yeah. Up top, Momo holds up a hand for a high five, which the arm immediately just rings, slaps Momo across the face. Oh! I'm still working out the kinks. I apologize.
Wasn't intentional!
No, I was going for the high. I was trying to do a download too slow and decided to just sock you. I'm really sorry about that one. All right. Okay, up top. It punches him in the gut. Shit, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, no more high fives. No more high fives. No more high fives. Sorry. Bad arm. Bad.
Gotta go lay down.
The arm is like a little dejected head.
Has a mind of its own.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get the rest of my breakfast and probably go over to the tavern to start working on some business of my own. So yeah, you get along well.
You too.
All right. So, in the meantime, Mal, you said you were going to take breakfast up to Quintessa?
Yeah.
Cool.
Breakfast!
All right.
Mal opens the door. Hey, how's it going?
You see, she's writing.
New chapter?
Yeah.
Mal sets the stuff down on one of the tables and kind of just looks over his shoulder. What you got going on then?
I'm gonna be honest. I have no clue. I'm kind of just, you know, the kind of writing where you just sort of write and you don't stop, but you're not really mindful of what you're writing. It's that basically.
Just kind of starve for ideas then?
Well, I don't really know where to take Rose on the battlefield anymore, so I'm just kind of saying what I'm thinking.
Well, he kind of just takes a chair and starts rummaging through his stuff as he's speaking. We're the only ones here. Why don't you speak your mind?
This is my story, Malafine.
And it might help if you have a little bit of word vomit. That's what you call it, right? I don't know. I'm not an author.
Yeah, I know, so why are you offering to help?
Maybe it might help to just have a little bit of back and forth.
This is... You know how personal this is to me, Malafine. I don't think back and forth's gonna work for it.
I understand. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gotten involved.
No, it's alright. I'm just glad for the break.
We've needed this.
Yeah, I mean, this is never gonna get published if I'm not writing it.
Good time to decompress as much as any, I suppose.
Yes, absolutely.
Malafane goes through and reaches for his journal, and instead he pulls out what looks to be a very worn out and waterlogged book. He kind of eyes it for a second, and his mind just goes, "Oh, this." Do you ever just find stuff lying around that you kind of forgot about?
Occasionally, why?
Did we ever tell you about the Fiery Broad? That one tavern in Port Morandu?
I think you loosely mentioned it a couple times, yes.
We went down there to take care of a rat problem, and we found a few things while we were down there. One of which was this book, I guess. It's...
Go on.
I mean, not really much else to say. It's... Supposedly it has some stuff written in it, but, I mean, it's seen better days.
Let me have a look.
Sure. He hands her the book.
What's in the fucking book?
The book appears to be a very waterlogged and heavily damaged spell book used by a wizard. It's elven in design, from what little of the actual, furnishing and design remains of it.
A mending spell might fix this.
Do you know that by any chance?
No! if I'd have known that, I think a lot of things would have been a lot easier.
I mean, you know a little bit of magic. I don't know. I shouldn't.
I know one spell.
I don't know. Hmm?
Excuse me.
Oh, you're okay. This was
just
a lot.
phases through.
Momo T-poses into the library through the walls.
I heard you called me!
This thing is a lost cause. He just starts flipping through it. I I highly doubt there are any pages that are actually worth a damn in here.
I mean, never hurts to get it fixed.
I guess. I don't know. I guess I was just under the assumption that... Hang on.
What?
There's like this very beginning page right here. It's actually kind of dried up a bit, I guess.
Yeah?
What does this say?
What does it say?
Something. Mal kind of just sets the book down on the table and kind of just starts reading the contents. It looks like these are some pretty simple spells, actually. Like something for, I don't know, a novice. Like an initiator.
Okay.
I guess it was meant to be, I don't know, learned as the book progresses.
Well, that's common for wizards. Where did you say you found this?
In a cavern below the Fiery Grog Tavern.
Who had it? Or did you just find it?
It was a skeleton.
Okay, I'm not going to question that, but
Yeah, okay.
Well, perhaps you could ask... Not him. Perhaps you could ask a magic user. I'm sure one of them knows mending.
Maybe. Although I am curious about this page here. It's like, what is this, shape water? What? Never really learned any spells like this. Like, I mean, I've browsed some of the stuff in my father's studies, but like I've never actually practiced it.
No, shape water is a thing. It's... Wizard spells are very complicated. But this isn't in... It's not really my priority in learning magic outside of combat. I mean, prestidigitation took quite a while to master for me. And if you want to be a magic user, you need to get to learning quickly.
Malifane looks to his water skin. He tries moving his hand a bit, and the water skin just tilts over and spills. Oh gosh! Oh god, okay. Yeah, you're right about that. I'm gonna clean that up. I'm sorry.
Malifane. What you need is a component pouch.
A what?
A component pouch. You need to collect the components for the spell in order to cast the spell. Which you can't do unless you're a wizard.
I guess I mean, I never really assumed it would be that easy, but I didn't really think it would mean more than a book and some practice.
I mean, if you want to learn it, then it's something, I guess. Something like that could prove useful.
Maybe I could take this to Momo or Corellian. Maybe they'd know something. Thanks for that. Really appreciate that, babe. Love you.
Thank you. Before you go...
Yeah?
A giant rat problem.
Long story, but,
Eyes narrow.
it's a topic very similar to what we were discussing yesterday.
You can just say Okiti.
It's Okiti, yeah.
Slides in. The Rat King was not an Okiti. His giant rats were not Okiti.
Oh.
Oh, my bad.
They were just rats, Jim.
Just
Big,
rats,
magically enhanced rats, but
Yeah.
I will.
It's like,
I will reclaim my time and rewind.
Yeah,
so
rewind.
rats,
I'm sorry, this debate is not a reclaim space.
Yeah, I will not allow racism based on false information.
Thank you.
Look, I've got no idea.
They were really, really big rats. Scientifically experimented on big rats.
Chanty thingies. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mal,
Hmm?
if any of them... Never mind.
What?
I don't want to argue anymore, I'm going back to work.
Okay. Enjoy your breakfast.
Makes a point to not look at the breakfast.
Right. I'll come by later.
Alright. Breakfast time is now over. So where's everyone going?
Scam's gonna pop off to the tavern a little bit to do some consulting on information network.
Alright. Well, don't everybody jump up at once!
Okay, this is gonna be a silly question, but are there any things that are currently under construction?
No, actually. The last construction at Batman's Hall finished up a while ago. That was the practice range wing of the hall with, like, the archery range and whatnot. And the contract with the Adventurers Guild.
Fuck, I don't trust myself to socialize with anybody here.
That's very unfortunate, Scott, because I prepped for a lot of socializing.
Yeah.
You can go in pairs, it's
Trust
fine!
Malafane.
I'll just look for either Momo or Corellian, depending on who's ever closest to the library. And I'll just tag along with them.
Momo's gonna, after recovering from his gut punch, he's gonna go visit Chicken Bait.
Alright.
Krellin is probably going to go talk to Maggie.
So Chicken Bait is closer to the library, so congratulations, Malafane, you're with Momo.
Cool.
You're with one of the worst communicators ever.
That's fine. We're talking to Chicken Bait.
Ow!
Ow!
That came out wrong. That came out wrong.
Ow!
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
It hurts me!
That's not what I
You
meant.
hurt him! Look what you've done!
Forget it.
Alright. So, we're gonna go to the tavern first. The Noble Stoat is quite busy. There are, like, a lot of motley-looking crews hanging around, sitting at various tables. People who very clearly are not part of the usual Batman's Hall crowd and are just kind of there shooting the shit, talking big game about adventures they have gone on. You ask about the information network and are pointed to a door at the back, Scam.
Nod. Walk towards the door. Kind of like look over my shoulder. All right. Neato. Open the door in the back.
Alright. You walk inside, a burly-looking half-orc in glasses is sitting down, hunched over at a desk that's way too small for him, feverishly taking notes on several scattered pieces of paper.
Hey, how you doing, Scam Likely? I'm looking for the information network.
The half-orc looks up, adjusts his glasses. You found it.
Oh, it's you?
Yeah, I'm the one who runs the information network around here, yes.
What's your name, pal?
Goobark.
Goobark. Nice name. Yeah, Scam Likely. So, I'm one of the I'm kind of, in with it. I'm in with the whole Baton Rounds crowd, the adventurers, no big deal. Look, so I need some help. I'm looking for some information, some avenues. We don't have a thieves' presence here, which is, hey, fine by me. But I have some more, illicit goods of interest that I'm looking to sell off to potential buyers. So I'm hoping to find some potential contacts in the surrounding environs who might be interested in a few objects of interest. You happen to be able to ask around a bit?
Goobark adjusts his glasses. Yeah, potentially. Technically not my job description, but I am the closest thing to it.
Yeah, I'm not looking to use you as the channel necessarily for the illicit underworld's business, but surely somebody as informed as you, Goobar, can find me contacts who'd be interested. So, Alex, for your reference of what Scam is describing, what he's looking for, I'm hoping to sell off the vials of Shadowfell slime, the Wither broth, the Witch boil, and the Anunnaki neurological exciter. So just kind of like throwing those things out there of anyone who might be interested in buying these poisons and neurotoxins and all that fun stuff. And what's good? And then kind of towards the end, scam tax on, and you could also potentially look into any services involving swords for hire, who might potentially also be interested in hit business. That might be appeals to my interest as well. Whatever you can do, Gubark.
Well, good thing about Swords for Hire, now that there's this contract with the Adventurers Guild here at Baton Rance, a lot of folks show up looking for work here in the tavern and ask around, and I'm sure you can find a few of the less than savory morality business. But
Sure.
yes, I can put out word that you're looking to sell some alternative medicine, let's call it.
Yeah, some yes, expeditive chemicals. Correct. Okay, thank you very much, Gubark.
And Gubark goes back to writing down some notes on papers, putting them into chutes that drop down from the ceiling and then retract back into the ceiling, and then takes the papers with him.
Very nice. Alright, well, Scam will hang out in the tavern for a bit longer and just see if he can spy any unsavory types.
Yes. I just need to pull up the proper PDF that has the thing that I just
good.
rolled. Oh, good
good.
indeed. Alright. So, one of the first people you see that catches your attention is a rather scrawny guy, to be fair. Looks to be an ex-soldier, given like the shoulder plates, leather and whatnot that are strapped across his chest. But he also carries like a quarterstaff, covered in vines and thorns and whatnot, who is laughing and having a great time at his table. That's the first one you see. Where's the fucking table of contents on this thing? The second person you see, zooming in, is an enormous, muscled green dragonborn, longsword and longbow in sheaths and quivers at his side, and he's got like this gashing scar across one eye, and is just like at a table by himself, smoking a cigar. There's technically no smoking allowed inside the tavern. No one has come over to stop him.
Gotcha.
Understandable.
Is that it?
Let me roll for one more then, because you do have an
Okay,
Adventurers
cool.
Guild contract. Whee! So that is going to be it's 3 rolls, so bear with me.
You are good.
Okay.
You are bared.
I am a bear.
Bear.
Truly,
Fair.
one becomes the thing one hates the most.
Yeah. You either die a hero or live long enough to become the bear.
I was just about to
pathos.
fucking quote that.
Alright. Cool. Wow, it looks like you're getting a whole lot of, like, people of the primal power set, because you see a high elf, full plate armor, and a shield emblazoned with a lot of holy symbols related to gods of nature, who is busy flirting with several barmaids.
Yeah, Scam's gonna pick up, like, a drink and walk over to the green dragonborn.
Yeah. The green dragonborn stares you down with unblinking eyes as you approach, but says nothing.
What are you smoking there, friend? Smells, exotic.
He just takes the cigar out of his mouth, blows smoke directly in your face. He's a green dragonborn, so it tastes faintly like chloroform gas and chlorine gas, but it also smells like straight up brimstone in your face.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, Here, I'm not sure what you take, but I'm one of the big wigs around these parts, so have a drink on me. You are interested? What brings you to Bad Ranch? Looking for work? You're with the guild, I assume.
He nods as you order a basically straight shot of vodka for all intents and purposes.
Great.
He chugs it down. Heard about the people who ran this place. Heard they did a lot of fighting, and not exactly the type of fighting where it's down to the wire, everyone bloodied. Heard it was the type of fighting where nothing was left behind.
And that appeals to you.
I misread this stat block. This is a girl dragonborn. She just talks like this.
No worries. It's great. It's fine.
Yeah.
I love it. And that kind of stuff appeals to you, yeah?
She nods.
Take it that you're the kind of individual who doesn't like to leave much of a mess behind, really likes to disassemble her work thoroughly.
You leave anything behind, people tell stories about you, and stories people are really bad at telling correctly.
What brings you to the guild, if you don't mind my inquiry?
Let me put it this way. I go do things on my own, people call me a psychopath. I do guild-sanctioned work. Well, people just call me a hero who slays a bunch of kobolds or goblins or some shit.
What's your name there, friend?
Nuthra Maradian.
Nuthra Maradian. Pleasure is all mine. Scamuel Thelonious likely. I might have a potential business venture for you that'll appeal to your deeper-seated sensibilities, while not necessarily trampling too hard on your connections.
Listening.
You able to make people disappear?
Noisily, yeah.
Noisily?
Stealth is not exactly a strong suit of mine.
I see. When you say noisily, what do you mean?
It means that usually someone else is gonna have to clean up the mess if you want it done in a good amount of time.
Part of me likes that. Tell me, Nuthra, what do you charge for cleaning up messes? And I'm not talking about that which is left behind. I'm talking about stains on our fair little world here that need to be removed.
Adventurers Guild usually has a daily charge for what they call hirelings. I tried to argue with the terminology, but fucking... Mine's 30 gold a day.
30 gold a day? 30 gold a day buys you the price of a life, yeah?
Now, when you say the price of a life, I'm assuming I'd be the one taking the credit for it, yeah?
Absolutely. This is the kind of job that would have that would require discretion and might have some repercussions that those involved do not wish to have too tied back to them.
What's the life you're thinking of taking?
Well, I'm not too keen on giving out details in a public forum.
No,
but let me ask. That they don't. But I'm still a cautious man. Let's just say I've had a number of business ventures over the years that have, well, I don't tend to learn from my mistakes, but there's a couple of things I've taken to heart now and again. But let me just ask you this. You have any qualms against hurting people that might be, prominent around these parts?
I'm new here. I don't know who anyone is, and I don't give a shit.
Well, let's not put anything to paper yet, shall we? What I'll tell you is, let's just say there's an individual around these grounds who I think needs to be removed from play.
She takes another drag from her cigarette. Don't like going in without all the information. Price just went up to 60 gold a day.
Absolutely. That's a fair price. And I'm not going to put money down right at this moment. I'm not going to hire you quite yet. I'm letting some other ventures play out first. But I just need to make sure that you're someone that I can count on and that my money has a sound investment in.
And how exactly would you figure that out?
You tell me.
She grabs her longbow. Let me double check these ability to make sure I can figure out the best way to do it. Looks at a chandelier across the tavern, and in a span of a few seconds, fires off 3 arrows, knocking every single candle off of the chandelier, and then just hitting the chandelier directly at the base of its chain and dropping it onto someone else's table as they scream.
Very good. So tell you what. How long you plan to be in these parts for, Mithra?
A few days at the most.
Very good. I'll tell you what. You let the drinks will flow free from my coffers. I got you while you're in these parts. You enjoy whatever you like. Within reason, of course. I don't want you to manipulate a good-willed business investment. But I need to let a few things sit for a day or two, some business opportunities, some money to come in. But if you're really interested in this kind of work, I'll find you, and I'd be happy to give you the full lowdown of the business I'm interested in coming to terms to. Sound like a plan, Nuthra? I'll take that as a grunt of agreement. Very well. Don't worry. I'll leave word with the keeper of this fine establishment that your expenses are directly a gift from Scamiel Thelonious Likely of Batman's Hall.
Much obliged.
Yeah. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in touch soon. And then Scam will probably walk off to meander about until at some point later on we'll want to go find Corellian. But that's down the line.
Alright. In that case, we're going to switch over to Momo and Malifane meeting up with Chicken Bait. It is the middle of the day, so as you get to the stables, Chicken Bait is fast asleep.
God.
Oh, I forgot they're nocturnal. Come back later. As they're walking out, Momo kind of puts his head at Malifane. Is he looking any certain way? Like, is he looking mopey or anything?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Chicken Bait for a moment. No.
No,
Yes, is the sleeping guy.
The sleeping kobold is looking up with no particular intensity. His eyes are closed. He's bad at looking.
I think he's just kind of waiting. Pardon me. I think he's just waiting for a moment to speak, but he's not really at it just yet. He's kind of waiting for business to be taken care of first. What did you... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
What did you plan on talking to him about?
I just wanted to see how he was doing. It's been a really long time since I've spoken to him personally.
It's been a long time.
I was excited to see his old friends. Some animal friends, I mean.
Well, it's been a while since we've spoken to a lot of people around here. Kay said that they were going to talk to Maggie, and I'm not sure what the other two are up. Well, no, I'm not sure what Scam is up to, but it's good to catch up with these folks.
Yeah. How have you been doing since we got back? I know it was just yesterday, but what have you been up to?
Things have gotten a little better, I suppose. It's good to just let things decompress, as Corellian said earlier. I did find that book that we picked up way back in Port Mirandu, though.
Book?
Do you remember that spell book that we found back below the fiery grog?
Thanks for a minute.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I know
Got
it's been a while. Turns out there are still a few pages that are actually still intact somehow. It looks
Really?
like they're pretty novice spells, but I was wondering if you knew anything about this, being, a spellcaster.
Well, I does he have it with him? The book,
Yes,
I
he
mean?
does. Mhm.
Oh! Momo takes it, looks through the drenched pages, looks at the spells. Do I roll Arcana?
Uh, I could tell you right now, the spells that are currently intact, or at least that seem to be intact, are Booming Blade, Shape Water, and Find Familiar.
Yeah, these are mostly wizard spells.
Makes sense. This was Solana's grandmother, correct?
I was gonna look at the book, flip it over, take a good look at it, and forget if he has a spell on D&D Beyond. Don't do this to me. Not now. Um,
Thinking pretty hard there.
he does! He has mending!
All
And
right.
it's a cantrip?
Whoa! Yeah.
Mending is a cantrip.
Yes, he does. He's gonna cast mending on the book.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
The book is not torn. It is waterlogged. But I will say, for the purposes of the spell, you're not able to fully repair the book to its former glory, but you do help make the legible pages up at the front a little more legible.
What about greater restoration?
Isn't that for people?
Alright. Yeah, could you?
Definitely for people.
Alright.
Yeah.
I cast True Resurrection on the book.
On the book, it
Comes to
revives
life.
Solana's grandmother. Actually, whatever. Anyways,
The Fiery
this
Grog
is-
Tavern exploded.
But she was under the
This
fiery.
is, this is the best I could probably do, but
this is a lot more than I was. Thank you, Momo. This will be helpful.
sure.
I know there were some other spells in here, but I don't think I could even try casting these with even the most practice I could muster. How long did it take you to practice the spells you know?
A very, very, very long time. Spellcasting is not easy.
No kidding.
Well, I'm still learning new stuff about my magic.
Such as?
Well, you expect me to explain that kind of thing?
And give me the simplified version.
Well, I'm figuring out spells that I didn't even know I knew that I can do, if that makes any sense.
I think so.
And, maybe even practicing on new ones. Or old ones that I still haven't quite perfected. Magic is hard. I wouldn't describe it as an art, but definitely takes time and patience to perfect.
I
And
mean,
then you can never really perfect magic.
it still sounds more like an art than a science, I suppose. I guess that's a given, though.
Yeah.
I am curious about this familiar one. If anything, that sounds very similar to... What is it? That thing that Corellian did to find Moshka?
I think that's exactly what it is.
Huh. wonder.
Something similar. I'm not sure.
In any case.
Do you mind if I try and take a gander at these spells? If I even can.
Go ahead, please. It is worth noting that, and again, this is a wizard spellbook, but I do remember writing down that there were 3 spells that were found that were still intact besides these 3, and they were Dark Vision, Detect Magic, and Grease.
That is correct. As no one is a wizard, this knowledge is useless. They can't copy those spells into any spellbook because they don't use them.
Yeah, I don't think I could do any of these.
It's alright. The spells you know, at least from my perspective, have been far more useful anyways.
Like, flips his hand at him and is like, "Oh, stop it, you."
Alright. As you're discussing spells and the casting thereof and the book that you've been trying to learn from, well, not been trying to, but since the very beginning of the adventure have looked into ways to learn it, you see Annabelle walking out of the alchemist lab off to the barracks to go get some lunch.
Oh.
Annabelle!
Look who it is.
Oh, well, hey there. Fancy seeing you out and about. I thought for sure you'd be gone for a while longer.
How have you been? I feel like it's been way too long since we've spoken to you last.
Oh god, yeah, it's been like several 10 days at the very least, if not, months. You must have been real busy.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Right. As for me, I've also been working, like making sure I'm all, remembering the basics of alchemy, in case I need to make a potion of healing at a moment's notice, bam, I can just do it like that. And, Jasper's been doing okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Is he around?
No, Jasper's off, cutting wood. I usually try to find jobs for him outside of the hall grounds, because otherwise, people say he's the quote-unquote 4th ghost of Batman's Hall, and that's really silly. I mean, he's obviously not incorporeal.
I would just assume not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about the ghosts of Batman's Hall anyway, but surely they'd be a lot worse than Jasper. He wouldn't hurt anybody.
Well, can I talk to you for a second? Excuse us, Malifane.
Oh,
course.
yeah, sure.
Out of character, Alex, is there anything Momo could do to, like, fully restore Jasper right now?
You are in possession of no spells that would be capable of returning Jasper to life as a regular human.
In character, and I will not intervene, but how shaken up does she seem right now?
She seems fine. She just seems more confused about the ghost stories than anything. Like, your insight's high enough to see that she doesn't really know a lot about the ghost. She'd love to know more so she can understand where these people are coming from.
I'm more intrigued about the "he wouldn't hurt anyone" phrase and how she said that.
Okay, make an insight check.
Okay.
Give you advantage.
Thank you. Right. Let's go insight. That'll
Nice.
do.
Annabelle seems fully convinced that she is fully capable of keeping Jasper and his tremendous strength under control enough not to hurt anyone. No one else that she's referring to seems to be convinced.
Okay. I will just cock my head and leave the 2 be.
Hey, so, hey, if you ever need any help with Jasper or anything, I'm
Help?
definitely, like, from what I've seen, you've done a really good job with him and bringing him back, and, well, I appreciate your effort, and I want to help in any way I can.
I mean, that's very nice, Momo, but the kind of things clerics are good at, raising the dead and whatnot, not exactly something I can afford. on a grad student's budget. So,
For-
yeah,
what are you talking about afford it?
I'm talking... Resurrection spells aren't free. I learned that the first day of necromancy class.
No. You don't worry about that. I'll take care of it.
But Momo, I appreciate it. I really do. But it's been long enough that, only the most legendary clerics could really do anything about that, and at this point, they don't need to. I found a way. I mean, admittedly, I'm still working out some of the kinks, because it took, a lot of research and putting things together over quite a bit of time, but, if I manage to get this portable, more affordable, being out of the budget will be a thing of the past. More Annabelles across the world will not have to worry about losing their Jaspers, you know?
Right. Well, my offer still stands. If you need any help with anything, I'm here.
Much appreciated, Momo. Was there anything else you needed from me?
No, it was just good to see you.
Well, great to see you too. I should probably get something to eat before, I forget, like last time.
Yeah, it's not very good. You take care.
Alright. And she waves goodbye.
And Momo waves goodbye as well.
She's a good girl.
Yeah. I'm worried about it though. I don't know why, because she seems to have everything under control. I don't know, something about this irks me in a weird way. You know what I mean?
I don't think there's something up with Jasper, do you?
I honestly don't know. I feel it. But I probably shouldn't really worry about it. It's not really any of my business.
I agree. I feel like this is something we should trust her with, at least for the time being. If things do get out of hand, then we can intervene, but I don't, like you said, I don't think we should. Yeah. Is chicken bait? Oh, sorry. Me too, Momo. Me too.
Chicken Bait's wake-up time is roughly 3 in the afternoon.
What time is it now?
Lunchtime.
Why don't we try getting ourselves a bite as well? We can come back in a few hours.
That sounds good.
Alright. Meanwhile, Corellian, you head off to the training grounds. Sure enough, they are in full swing. Orcs and dwarves are now among the people who are training in the ways of, physical fitness and military drills, guard stuff, and the like. There are a couple more racks of weapons and armor set up, and Maggie is there overlooking it all, staring daggers at one particular lane where one of the soldiers trips, falls into the mud, just walks over, yanks him back to his feet, and pushes him forward.
Carlin sort of takes deep breath, sort of psychs himself up a bit, but will eventually go forth and will hail Maggie as soon as she looks like she's not completely busy reprimanding someone.
Eventually, she's not completely busy reprimanding someone and casts a glance your direction. You wave. She does not change expression in the slightest.
Carlin nods, this makes perfect sense, and will come over having been satisfied that he's gotten her attention, and Maggie, how have things been going here on the home front?
Maggie looks over at the people running drills. Too slow.
Makes sense. I got word from Bert that there was Carlin sort of pauses to choose his words a little more carefully. There may have been an incident.
Ah, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. She turns and just
Yes.
immediately slugs you in the face.
Krellian just takes it, fucking standing up. Krellian does not flinch, just fucking takes it across the jaw, doesn't go up to rub it, and just slowly moves their head back into position, rolls their shoulders a bit, and then turns the other side. I deserve a second one at least.
Well, see, now you're just asking for it, so instead she just socks you in the gut instead.
You were absolutely correct. I was. And I should have messaged. Carlene says very carefully to put this on the I, so as not to be like, we as in the party, but I, as in Carlene, I'm the only one taking the blame here. I should have said something. You are absolutely correct, and absolutely, well, within your rights, and I understand completely both your reactions and this. Carlene sort of taps their jaw.
Look, if you're worried about me punching the rest of your friends, don't. You were perfectly clear it was your fault. I'm not that stupid.
Good. Excellent. If anything, I'm fairly proficient at being the party punching bag. I heard that several of the hobgoblins were sent to the infirmary.
Got their rogue and their cleric. Not before they dropped Yelkin, too.
Dropped as in he's still alive, right?
He's still alive. He's not going to be on watch duty anytime soon.
I'm not going to apologize because I think we both know that's a waste of both our fucking times.
Much obliged.
But I'm going to be level with you here, Maggie. We, being Carlene gestures at themselves and then sort of like a gesture back towards Batman, sort of indicating the party, we don't have a lot of friends in this world. When it comes down to it, one of the only things I give a shit about is making sure that people here, people at Baton Rants, are taken care of and protected. And if that means getting help from unusual places, I'm going to take all I can get. Alright? I know you have history. I know that it's bullshit. I know that I fucked up. But I have an obligation to the people that live here. And the more hands we have on, the more experienced hands we have on deck, the better everyone's chances are.
She reaches for a hip flask, takes a swig. Orcs are easy to understand. They push, you push back till everyone's given 110%. Dwarves, give them a task and they'll do 110% of that. Hobgoblins, you think you understand. But Captain Tarth, 30 years ago, Captain Tarth wasn't fighting for the glory of a hobgoblin empire, for revenge. All he wanted to do was fight, for the sake of the fight. Where Captain Tarth goes, war follows. And she gestures to the training grounds. Things are going way too slow for war to come to us. So don't talk to me about protecting these people. Because no matter how hard you think you have it, I have been at this for so much longer.
Carlene just nods. And Carlene has always known that when it comes to experience, they are more than happy to defer to Maggie on all things. And just tell me what to do and who to train. And the only thing I ask is, please tell me everything you know about Captain Tarth.
She sighs, sits back in her chair. Absolute bastard when it came to strategy. Nothing he and the Legion wouldn't do to break the enemy ranks, to get a victory, to charge through, occupy whatever holdings he could claim. That's how he and his band managed to get such a hold over the southeast of Irion. Took the force of 2 armies to beat him. Even then, well, took a dragon to finish the job. For everyone. She instinctively reaches for her eye patch. Thought the motherfucker was dead. Should've known it wouldn't be that easy to get rid of him. Your friend Bert made sure to station him, Mistress, and his kid at the opposite side of the hall so we'd never have to see each other. Probably for the best.
Probably. Colin sort of nods. Thank you, Maggie. Sincerely. I know I've thanked you before, but
Not enough, you haven't.
for everything. Well, in that case, and Krellin will go into a sort of deeper bow, I will continue thanking you until the days grow long, until the nights grow short. I will continue thanking you until all this shit is over, and even beyond that. Thank you for telling me. Now, point me to who needs a bit more training in the martial sort of arts, and I'll get on that, and I'll go talk to Captain Torth, right?
Maggie nods, gestures to one of the problem lanes. Diamond Squadron has all the dexterity of a drunken gelatinous cube.
Yes, ma'am. I'll see if we can't sort that one out. Krellin does a crisp salute and stalks off towards the Diamond Squadron, cutlass in hand, ready to beat the shit out of some recruits.
Excellent! Alright. Meanwhile, back in the library. Quintessa, you still in here, presumably for the rest of this time period? Cool. Alright. The hours pass on. You keep on writing. The breakfast plate keeps on getting cold. And eventually so does the rest of the room.
Okay.
Alright. As you briefly look up from your writing, having hit a bit of a roadblock, you notice that one of the books has been taken off the bookshelf and is open on a reading table.
Out of character, I just wanted one day of peace.
This is Fallen Empires, I don't know what you're talking about.
I was gonna say, hun, this is Fallen Empires.
Get out, you're not here.
Okay.
Right.
Cellophane T-poses into the room. This is Fallen Empires.
Hi, hun, Mama was here and now I am back.
Alright, I slowly sort of stand up, like, kind of like that.
Right.
Hello?
Hello, yes, I was wondering when you were going to notice.
So I can't see this.
You cannot see who said that. But someone definitely did.
Oh, well, I get very absorbed in my work and... you found the place okay?
I mean, I should certainly hope so. I've been here for several... Gosh, has it been centuries at this point?
Oh. Oh, are you a, ghost or something? Like one of those haunty the old place things?
I mean, that's a very childish term for it, but yes.
Do you mind if I come over?
By all means, it is your library, is it not?
Well, by extension, yes, whatever, just goes over.
Alright. You go over to the reading table, the page flips, you cast a quick glance, it is one of the books on the Feywild.
So, wait, you've been here the whole time, or...?
For the last hour or so, yes.
No, I mean, the whole time in this place.
Yes, after the initial fall of Battenren's Hall, I was bound to the grounds.
For how long?
It must have been centuries at this point. Trust me, this place has been left to rot and decay for quite some time before this Lord Stormkirk took an interest in it.
Is that a good or a bad thing for you?
Well, that depends. I was operating under the impression that if this mansion were to be restored to its former glory, my duties as Major Domo would be complete and I could finally pass on to something that wasn't this.
Out of character, what is Major Domo?
Master of the house, basically. You know Cogsworth
accidentally clicked a button, ignore me.
Yeah. You spellcast in order to beam into Quintessa's head. So, you know Cogsworth from Beauty and the Beast?
So, let me tell you about the meta of the universe outside our own plane. Anyway, ignore me, sorry.
You're the original owner?
No, not necessarily. Lord Josiah Battenrance was the original owner. I was the one who ran the day-to-day.
And who are you, then?
My name is Ishka.
Right, and... Well, nice to meet you. I'd say in person, but I can't see you.
Yes. That tends to be an effect. I am much more visible in the ethereal plane. There was a lantern that let people see me, but who knows where that's gotten off to.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure to have you here. If you don't mind me asking, what are you looking at there?
A book on the Feywild. More specifically, what qualifies for the afterlife in the Feywild.
Why specifically the Feywild?
Well, you see, this is a bit of a long story. I assume you have the time.
Sits down.
Excellent. Well, back in the days when I was alive, I did have some power over nature. Make berries grow that could fill an entire belly, something like that. But it was never enough to truly run this place, not by myself. And so, I made a deal with those who had power over nature. A deal with the Fae.
Right, I hesitate to ask this, but who specifically?
The name escapes my tongue no matter how hard I remember. She was of the Autumn Court, I know that much.
Do I still have the leaf that I picked up?
Yes.
I pull that out.
The leaf floats out of your hands, hovering just slightly to the side and above the reading desk. Yes, this is one of hers.
Lady Famar.
Sounds familiar enough.
So what happened?
Well, during the days when Battenrance Hall fell, Lord Battenrance himself was killed by the interloper, and I, in turn, killed her. Obviously, I must have done something to displease the lady. I was taken by a storm of ivy and thorns and buried deep underground, and that was that. I was dead. My pact with her ended poorly. Wouldn't leave. And I haven't heard from her since. Until recently. When I swear, over channels that crossed the ethereal plane and the Fae, I heard laughter and merrymaking. The kind I had very rarely heard since. The kind that was balanced out several years prior by the cry of anguish, so I assumed it was related. The kind of cry that doesn't happen unless someone Lady Fomar cares about is dead. Obviously, I didn't count.
Right. Yes, I might know what you're talking about.
Excellent. My memories, of course, have been hazy over the years, so it's lucky that I have this research to look into where souls claimed by the Fae go when they pass on.
Do you know where your body is?
Oh yes, my body is decomposed in the basement level.
As in,
Right.
it's...
Yeah, it's right next to the enchantry, if you've ever been down there.
Oh, right. I mean, is it, like, easy to get to, or is it covered by floorboards or something?
Oh no, they unblocked the basement a long time ago.
Right. Do you need some help?
In a sense, yes. Because obviously, being bound to the grounds, I can't go anywhere myself. But you, or someone you know, I'm sure, once I do the proper research, you just feel this cold presence wash over you as if something is staring directly at you that you can't quite see. Once I do the proper research, you, or someone with the proper skills, could take a quick sojourn into the darkest corners of the Feywild and get back your Esgol's soul.
How the fuck do you know about him?
I was familiar with him back when he was still around the place. Everyone thinks they're being so quiet with their gossip, but when you're a ghost that hears everything going on in the hall, nothing escapes me.
Of course I'd go. If I could get him back, of course I would.
Admittedly, it will take me quite some time to figure out more specifics on if such a thing is possible, and if so, how. Know that I do not do this out of the goodness of my heart.
That's alright. I know everyone's out for themselves.
A wise outlook to have.
Well, you can stay in here for as long as you need then.
Excellent. Are you going to finish your sausage? It's cold by now.
What time is it now?
It is lunchtime.
Oh, yeah, might as well. Thank you. What was your name again?
Ishka.
Ishka, okay. I'm sorry about your circumstances.
Why?
I don't know. Just seems like a really bad fate.
It was, yes.
Well, like I said, you can stay here.
Frankly speaking, you couldn't stop me, but I appreciate it regardless.
Well, true, but, you have been meaning to sign your name on the way out, right?
Oh, is that the rule? It's changed so often recently.
Yes, I mean, you could be the exception. It could be a life rule thing. I don't know. I'm just gonna go eat bite.
Alright, and you go to eat your sausage. It is very cold by now and not delicious.
I don't care. Cold sausages are delicious to me.
Okay.
I will agree to that notion.
Alright. Currently, it is now around lunchtime. And after everyone
Hey.
gets lunch, which this time around is sandwiches, you are left to more of your own devices.
What kind of sandwiches?
What kind of sandwiches? Meat sandwiches.
Ah,
I love meat.
I love meat.
Meat.
I don't
Party
even care about what kind of meat's in these sandwiches.
As long as it hasn't been nerfed.
I love meat. I could never go vegetarian.
Nah. I'll stay in the library, though.
All right.
I don't need no sandwich.
What
So,
is sandwich?
How's everyone been doing? Krellin is like sort of nursing a bit of a fucking strained shoulder at this point after their sparring with the Diamond Company and so on and so forth, which Krellin's a strong type of kobold, but that's a lot of people. So,
Yo,
how have been
correct.
things?
Corellian,
Hi.
after we eat, you mind if we talk for a second? I want to catch up on some potential plans and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, sure, of course.
God, it feels good to actually get a nice rest, by the way. Also, I feel like there's something I should bring to everyone's attention, because Momo made me realize that I should probably be vocal with this group.
Oh.
Scam begins to take off his clothes. Well, his shirt. Until he
I,
gets
Krellin
to...
devolves into
Momo puts
coughing.
his hand on Momo puts his hand on Corellian's shoulder. It's just
Why
like,
are
hey,
you
it's okay. It's
why?
not what you
Why?
think.
Why is
No,
he stripping
I'm
Momo?
going
Krellin's
to
eyes are
turn away.
completely.
Yeah, Malapin's head just turns to the side, just to look away.
stripping.
Until he has undone his the requisite clothing and is now displaying his new prosthetic arm on full force to the entire group.
Momo, you didn't say new. Oh.
You've
Yeah.
Lost weight, gained weight. What
Fuck
what-
you!
Malphane!
No, I'm sorry. It's just
You're right, but fuck you.
it's just how come?
Well, you see, I thought about it, and I just kind of realized that having an arm that was tainted by some Dragatha bullshit wasn't exactly my style, so it was a bit of a spite towards Dragatha, but also I wanted to prove that I could do it. And now, ka-chunk, I take off my arm, I can take off my own right arm. So, you know, clang, 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 put it back on.
Is there any actual versatile benefit to that?
Nope. Just as good as my regular arm. I'm working up on building it so it can punch people from very far away. But that's, cough, cough, wheeze, another level away.
Has this sort of odd look on their face, and they sort of stand up and go over to Scam and sort of extend a claw. May I?
Go ahead, do it, please.
And Krellin takes Scam's artificial hand in one claw and sort of like.
Oh, here, let me get you, have it get up
Sure.
close. I detach my own arm and give it to Krellian.
God.
Yeah.
Can you move it?
You detach
Not
your
when
arm.
it's detached.
You hear very loud chewing. Turn around. Navagath is behind you with the sandwich. That's a really cool arm. This is good sandwich. Also,
BAM! Oh, my fucking nuts! Anyway, yeah, I can think of my own arm. I can't move it once it's detached, so there you go.
Right, that's fun. And Krellin will sort of like take the arm and sort of like reattach it to the shoulder because Krellin is a tinker. They know how to do that generally, and sort of just sort of still taking the hand and sort of like articulating the fingers and the elbow and the shoulder and just they sort of like stroke their claws down the forearm and just this is really beautiful, Scam.
Thank you. I spent all of the other night building it after I cut off my own arm.
Did you
That really hurt.
Did you... wait. And Krillin sort of, like, puts their claw on Scam's shoulder. Do you mean to tell me that you cut off your own arm before you had a replacement built?
Yes, yes, that is correct.
What did you think about that? Holy shit.
Krellin's, like, claws sort of, like,
Oh.
dig in slightly to the meat of Scam's shoulder and then relax and then just sort of, like, just pat him slightly on the cheek and then, like, slap him very lightly and just... You are an absolute dunce. You could have died of blood loss. You could have expired. You could... No. Do not argue with me. And just... It's still... Krillin just sort of sighs.
Krillin, I have my own healing magic.
I know, but if you were in the midst of crafting things, I don't know if you had the wherewithal. Whatever. That all aside, and Krillin sort of like...
I couldn't know the exact dimensions of the prosthetic until after I'd cut off the arm.
That is an absolute damn lie, and we both know it.
How could I know the exact specifications of the inner socket joint of my own body until after I remove the obstacle?
Krillin sort of like shh, and just sort of like, you did a good job, and obviously, like I said, and Krillin sort of like takes the prosthetic hand again. It's beautiful, but please, Scam. Next time you decide to do something like this, please at least tell someone.
No guarantees. But
That's
to
exactly
quote
what
one,
I told him.
Corellian Velez, I love you sometimes. Scam likely, so I at least owe it to somebody who apparently loves me. Tell them that I'm gonna chop off body parts and
well, you know, fine. If you're gonna quote me, then fine. Fucking, you know, you owe me then. If you will indeed take that quote to heart, you better fucking tell me next time you chop something off. God damn it!
I deserve to tell you, or you deserve. I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's right. I do deserve.
You do deserve that.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Good to be.
Krillin nods, getting
Sometimes
exactly what they wanted.
Whatever.
In the background, you hear Bert yelling, "There's the fucking crap in your tube argument!"
Oh, gods. And Krillin just sort of, like, squeezes the hand. Can you feel this, by the way?
And more or less, not as intensely as with actual flesh, but I did program sort of like a nerve receptor into there, so I get at least some feedback.
Why?
It's like that his head is on the table and he's
wait.
dying laughing.
No, wait, time out. You intentionally programmed a nerve receptor in there.
Well, it just makes sense.
You know how
I
often
mean,
it would be to try and like hold things up, being able to feel the pressure involved?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess.
Imagine, let me paint a fucking picture for you, Malphane. Imagine sitting on your arm until it goes numb, right? Until it goes fully numb. Then try grabbing, holding, or even manipulating anything with a completely unfeeling arm. It doesn't work, okay? I don't really feel pain with this arm. Like here, Scam takes a knife and like stabs it in down into like his arm. And he goes, I don't feel the pain, but I feel that there is something in my arm now.
You know what? That was my biggest concern. So you've put that to rest, and I appreciate that.
I don't feel pain in this arm, but I do at least know that there is now something protruding through the arm and I need to repair it. So it is. Oh God, it's leaking. Fuck! Why is it leaking?
Oh God's above. And Krillin sort of like clamps a claw over it. You should get up to the Tinkerer's lab, and also haptic feedback. Very interesting. We should talk more because this is. Sorry.
That almost sounded like you were complimenting my design and respected my intelligence, Corellian.
What? Were you deaf for the past 10 minutes or so?
I might be fading in and out from the anemia of the blood loss.
Oh, gods above. And still, like, Krillin, like, holding, like, clamping one claw down at the arm, sort of, like, slings Scam over the other shoulder. Let's get you up to the Tinker's lab and get
My
this sorted.
hero.
You too.
Yeah, cheers, Malifane. Cheers, Momo.
Oh boy.
I have fought so hard for some semblance of a pairing between Krellin and Scam. This is exactly what I wanted.
Amazing.
Malifane just goes back to looking at between the book and the water skin he has on him, hoping that he doesn't spill anything this time.
All right. Anything else that Momo and Malphine want to do at lunch?
No, not really.
Are you sure there's not a someone that you want to talk to?
No.
Really?
Really?
Okay. Hey, what kind of meat is this, Alex?
This
I know
is...
what you're getting at, Scott. I'm not
Okay.
stupid.
Okay, just checking.
This is slices of beef.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck you, Scott.
It is not a
Love you.
chicken sandwich.
Love you, Joj.
Yeah, there's a separate thing on my table for chicken sandwiches instead of meat sandwiches.
Good to know that there are specifics on there.
Yep. Oh wait, no, my mistake. The sandwich options are meat or other.
Meat or other? Oh gosh, what is... I'm afraid to know what other is.
Tag yourself, I'm other.
And does it comply with fantasy FDA?
What fantasy FDA?
You know what? That's fair.
Scam/Xander is currently going to the bathroom, so before we go up to the Tinker's Guild, let us debate what else could be a violation of the fantasy FDA with these sandwiches.
This is 50% whole grain, not 100%!
I'm going to assume that they did not put the scamwiches on the menu.
No.
Oh, God, no.
No!
Good, because I'd be very concerned otherwise.
Yeah,
What's that face?
alright. So yeah, the lunch table does not have scamwiches on it.
Thank God.
Mostly... Actually, I'll read from the whole table so you know the kinds of disappointment that lunch can bring. Boiled vegetables, cold meat, cold vegetables, dried fruit, meat in a bun, mutton leg, pastry, pie, parentheses, various, preserved meat, sandwich, meat, sandwich, other, sausage roll.
Sausage roll?
Sausage roll!
What's this never come up?
I've
What?
never rolled
You
sausage
eat
roll!
How dare. How dare the dice gods not bless you on this sacred day?
What is the table? Is it like a 1D100? What is it?
Breakfast is a D10, lunch is a D12, dinner is a D20.
Oh, wow. That's... Huh.
Yeah. It's part of a series of many, many tables I have about food and drink options. There's, in the PDF I have, there is also a D20 for all-day sides, D12 for desserts, a D6 to see what drink sub-table you roll on, and then D10 for beer, a D12 for wine, D10 for spirits, D12 for other drinks.
This is a lot. What book is this in? Or is there?
This is from Tavern Kit 2. I believe I got this on the DM's Guild.
DM's Guild is God.
I love the DM's Guild so much. Unfortunately, however, the DM's Guild no longer has Colonel Mock's Revenge, the adventure I used as part of Merdeal, so
Really?
RIP anyone who wants to use the original Fallen Empire's campaign path.
How come?
I don't know.
Heck.
Can maybe the original creator took it down?
Maybe. And like, if
I'm
that's the
still
case,
intrigued.
nothing we can
I'm
do.
still intrigued by that one list of spells that you had, but then I guess because there wasn't like an active PDF or something, then
Which list of spells?
I know that you introduced it like 7/8 of the way through Cannibal Conspiracy 2 or something. And it's like, oh, we can't use this now. Fuck.
Oh yeah, Deep Magic by Kobold Press. It had blood magic spells in it, and I was like, well, fuck, we've already done the vampire questline where this would have come in handy.
Yeah, we have another 50, 75, 100 sessions of Fallen Empires in us, methinks.
My next.
Oh my god.
Let's go Blood Hunter next character.
How many multi-classes can we fit in this? Slaps Hood.
Just become fucking absurd or something.
Oh god.
All
Oh
right.
god.
So, max level we can get to is 16. It's not too late to get some of that level 1 labyrinth magic.
Woo-wee. Love it.
Deep Magic is fucking insane.
I'm
yeah.
intrigued. I really want to see it.
Fun fact, though, if you fought Salzarin, he used some winter magic from the Deep Magic book, so that would have been fun.
Okay.
But
Anyway.
didn't.
But we didn't. And now that Xander is back from the war,
Welcome back from the war.
Corellian, you help escort Stam upstairs to the door of the Tinker's lab.
Fine. We're here. We made it up here.
Yes, we're here. Krellin will open the door and head inside. Is Panry here?
Panry is inside. Notably different from the last time you visited the Tinker's lab. Panry's mono-wheel invention is embedded in the ceiling, still slowly spinning, with, like, sputtering jets similar to Scam's rocket boots attached to the sides of it.
Oh, nice decor. Krellin sort of points their free claw. Any, particular reason for it?
Henry looks up from the table. I heard from Paulette that, you know, there was some more military activity around the Eastern area, and some from Pomerandu, others, they were, you know, like, saying, okay, elves, you can use our place to do some practices, just in case, you know, you get overrun by lizard folk. So I decided, that sounds like a real bad situation might come to Baton Rouge Hall pretty soon, so I was like, I need a quick getaway if it does. So I decided the best way to do that would be to attach jump jets to my monocycle invention, and as I tested it out, that's where it ended up.
Your calculations are off.
I just want to imagine that both Scam and Krellin slowly turn to look up at the monocycle and just look back at Panry.
Is there like a blackboard with like equations on here or something?
You might want to get the ceiling sorted first.
There is, yes. Notably on the blackboard, Penny has not accounted for the fact that there is a ceiling.
Scam points to the blackboard and says, "You forgot to carry the 2.
Damn it, I thought it was the 3 I was missing, but no, it was just the stupid freaking 2.
It was just a 2. I know, some of the 2 things up on you, but it's fine. Anyway, I concur with the kobold. You gotta deal with the feeling first.
Yeah. Well, anyway, speaking of concurring with the kobold, and Krellin sort of, like, slings Scam down a little and, like, puts it so that, his shoulder and the prosthetic arm are sort of on the Tinker's table, and holds it down, mind you, so Scam can't get away.
This is entirely unnecessary, Corellian.
I know. Do you want to connect it or disconnect it? Because honestly, it really is up to you at this point.
Disconnected, it's fine.
Well, there you go. And Colin will, like, hold it down so Scam can, like, disconnect it and stand next to...
Chunk, chunk. Alright, Panry does not look at all phased at the fact that Scam's arm is both A, prosthetic, and B, has come off.
I mean, honestly, like, just looking at present company, yeah. I'm gonna keep my claw on it for a while until it probably like sort of lifts it a little bit, then like clamps it back down. It doesn't seem like it's gonna stop leaking pneumatic fluid anytime soon, so I'm just gonna keep pressure on it, and you two, seeing that you two are both far more Carlin like flexes the other claw, dexterous.
I don't know
than
where
I
the
am.
pus stops and the pneumatic fluid starts, so we really should figure this out quickly.
Okay, you got some pus in the pneumatic carburetor right here. That's your problem.
Yeah.
You might want
We need
to
to
vacuum that out.
Do you have a fucking tube pump?
Yeah, of course I got a tube pump. What do I look like? A guy who doesn't have a tube pump? Come on.
At least Paulette teaches the basics, so that's fine. Yeah, you start pumping, I'll start cleaning. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds like a plan, says Penry.
God.
Tube pump just like BAM! Slamming down on the desk right next to the prosthetic arm.
Curlin sort of like leans on the table, like chin in one claw, the other claw still holding down the area with the leakage, and sort of looks over at Scam and just, you really have a flair for the theatric, don't you?
What can I say? I'm a spur of the moment kind of guy.
Yeah. If I didn't know you any better, I'd even say that you didn't think at all, but we both know
I have
that's
never
not
had a
entirely
thought
true.
in my life, Corellian Villas.
Alright, Scamuel, Felonious, likely, sure. You've never had a single thought in your
Listen,
entire life.
Never once. I'm a very do-it-yourself
Mhm.
kind of guy, so if you ever need any DIY lessons, look no further than Scamuel Likely.
Do I sense a but in that statement?
No.
No, not at all.
Not currently.
Not one singular. Not currently. Alright, rain check. If you think of one, you know where to find me.
Yeah, we sleep in adjacent rooms. Yes, I do.
Yeah, you can hammer on the door, or on the wall, as I so am very, very much aware of.
Yes, correct.
Scam.
Yeah.
Krillin sort of like pauses and like considers the prosthetic arm on the table, and then just after a moment, sort of like their eyes flick up to Scam. You alright?
Scam kind of looks a little caught off guard, but doesn't break his composure. Kind of, yeah. All things considered, I'm pretty okay. I think this is the most clarity I've had in the old, percolator for some time now. You know, starts with the arm. Who knows where I'm gonna go next? Already got some other ideas brewing, but, one day at a time.
That's, kind of why I ask. People don't usually do something like, you know...
Cutting off their own arm?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth.
It hurt like a motherfucker, let me tell you that. You know? I thought it would be at least bearable. No, I spent a good 5 minutes crying and bleeding out on the workshop floor. I almost died. It was great. But anyway.
As smart as you are one dumb motherfucker sometimes.
Well, you know how hard how hard it is to take off your arm at the shoulder? Like it'd be easier if I was just going like for the elbow. No, I had to wrestling and slam the bands.
Scam.
Oh, sorry.
Scam.
Yeah, no, sorry. I got a little track there.
Look at me, and Krillin sort of like does the, you know.
I'm looking at both of you.
All right.
All right, I'm here too. I guess in the middle of this.
Okay.
Pump's
I'm
going
counting
great.
you. Yeah, I see all four of you. That's fine.
Scam. Next time you decide to do something like this, please.
You want me to tell you with every single inventive whim I come up with?
No, just ones that involve, you know, you risking bodily harm and possibly death. Usually ones that require you taking your limbs off.
I do deeply respect our connection and our shared respect here. And moreover, I am deeply appreciative that you care so much for my well-being as to request that. And I do have to remind you that despite all other physical appearances, I am a trained professional, and I am actually quite... Well, I don't know shit about medicine. I don't know shit about medical-related knowledges, but I know a lot about the actual know-how behind, arteries and anatomy and how to properly stymie the flow of blood from one's, bleeding shoulder stump. But, I mean, listen, the things I do, I never do them at a detriment to my own life, though it may seem like that. At the end of the day, know what I'm doing, but if you really, really want to know every in and out of my experiments that involve my own physical well-being, then what kind of friend would I be if I didn't allow at least some semblance of vulnerability with a person who cares so much about my physical state?
Carlin sort of like growls a little bit and just, well, you make me sound like such an asshole for requesting, but
Well, I mean, you're putting words in my mouth, but yeah, I mean, it's
yeah,
fine.
I know what subtext is.
Did you want to keep the arm? Is that what this is about?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Scam.
I burned
Scam. First off, thank you. Second off, I really, Carlin flicks an ear. I really do give a shit about you, So, there's that. And
How much-
third off,
How much effort did that take to say?
Third thing is I don't want to lose anyone else I care about, alright?
You don't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, how's
That's fair,
that vacuum pump going?
It's going great. So far, it hasn't backfired and spouted blood into your faces, so that's a success.
Excellent. Wonderful. Can't hope for a better result.
I think this will work fine. I can fix up the rest of my own. Thank you very much. Just reattach the arm. We'll work with this. Thank you so much.
But no, I didn't turn it off yet. And then a little bit of blood spurts into your face.
Ah, shit.
God.
Watermelon next time.
I think I need to see a doctor. Why does my blood taste like watermelon? It's fine. I'll be fine. I'll drink. I'll inhale a tincture. It's fine. Look, yeah, buddy, you take 10. You deserve a lunch. Thank you for your work.
You're welcome.
Caroline, thank you. No, I will, I appreciate it. So, you don't want to lose anyone else you care about, huh? You say that you care about me?
Yeah, don't rub it in.
Man, I don't want to just, live in this moment for his edge, really. bask in this. Oh my god, Corellian gives a shit about me. This is,
I know. Count yourself one among, 4 or 5 people.
Who are the other 4 or 5 people?
I mean, if you really want the list, I'm sure we could go down it, but, let's make sure you don't, Carlin sort of, tentatively lifts a claw off of the arm to see if the fucking pneumatic fluid is still going.
Should be fine.
Yeah, I just show some motion to show that everything's all good. See? Bright as rain. I can easily begin mending the rest of this. I'm all good. But, you care about, you care about Momo, obviously. You care about, your wife. Care about... Do you care about Malphane?
Carlin sort of sighs and just sort of, nods in a, yes, I suppose I do.
Really?
Sort of way.
You really do?
Carlin sighs and just...
Corellian, I'm not fucking around. I need you to look me in the eyes and tell me honestly. You care about Malphane. Despite everything, you don't want to lose Malphane. Really.
It's a little more complicated than that, Scam. It's,
If Malphane were to die, would you care? Would you rather him be dead? Or do you want him to be alive?
I care about Malifane in as much as everyone else cares about Malifane.
That's not what I asked.
Losing Malifane would... Have I ever told you about our first trip to Ashnalora?
I can't say that you have, no. Still learning some new things here and there.
It's, I want you to know, first off, it's complicated, and when it comes to someone in my position, Caroline sort of, like, shrugs. When it comes to someone in my position as the sort of, I don't want to say leader, but as, well, you know. I don't have the luxury of acting on my own whims and desires, but, let's walk, and I'll tell you about our first trip to Ashenwater and how that went. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think the arm could totally use some fresh air.
Yeah. Let's take a walk. So,
You get refreshed and take a walk.
Yes.
let's just say to put a long story short, I haven't had the best experiences when it comes to being, well, me amidst people who aren't, well, you know. People often look down on kobolds in a way, and I'm sure you've experienced this before as well. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Small folk get the real short end of the stick.
Yeah, maybe it's petty of me. I've never really been able to forget it. But yeah, you know, those bouts of chaos where it comes to the whole, you know, draw a metaphysical card and some bullshit happens in the world. You know?
Why is my nose
Well-
bleeding? What the fuck is that?
No. First off, I taste metal as well, but it is a thing that happens. The first time we were down in the city of Shimmering Lights, down the oil rig, a card got drawn, and a child was summoned, a kobold child. And I took it to my care, because of course, who else would know how to care for a kobold? And on the way to the city of Shimmering Lights, it's gods, it's stupid, it's ancient history by now, I say. You know, things haven't happened only a few months ago at this point. Gods above, it feels like years, but no, there was an incident where a, you know, party pet got killed by a pack of ravenous, you know, infected adult wolves due to some infected
Right. As pets in any adventuring group are wont to do. Aye, that's right. Yeah.
Basically. Everyone was really cut up about it, and, you know, here I am being like, you know, it's just it's a goat, right? Am I missing something? Obviously, other people are upset, and no, people were upset about it, and I brought it up. It's just a fucking goat, you know? Well, what would you have said if it was that kid that got killed instead? I saw red scales. You have no idea. I saw fucking red, and I still see red thinking about it.
He said that. He
I didn't
actually
say
said
who.
that.
I didn't say who.
You didn't need to.
It's ancient history. I got talked down, and
Clearly, you're still thinking about it, though.
I don't. It's as much as I want to. It's not really one of those things that you stop thinking about, is it? You know, a lifetime full of little thing upon little thing.
Did he
thing upon-
apologize for saying it?
I. That's the funny thing. I ran off into the night, in the fucking streets of Ashran Alora, and the only person who went after me was Trevor, and I don't remember. I don't remember if he ever did. Maybe he did. Maybe it's all just something I'm blowing out of proportion.
You know, I've lived a life, Corellian, of people comparing us small folk, not even small folk halflings or gnomes, small folk. What most other people would say the monstrous small
Yeah.
folk. The kobolds, the goblins. Comparing us to animals. Comparing us to cattle or beasts. That kind of thing. You know, I watched my mother and father cook alive in front of me when I was a young kid. Dragatha's fire. I'm not sure if you know this, but Dragon's fire is hotter than hot. It is hell on earth. It is annihilation.
Yeah.
And I will, no matter how much other aspects of my personality I bring to the table, there is always going to be the part of me, the part that grew up in a tribe, the part of me that remembers, as no child should remember, the smell of what their own parents' flesh cooked smells like. And the aftermath of that, living on the streets of Port Mirandu for a time, being told occasionally by some people who found out, oh, well, I always loved a good barbecue. I wonder what a goblin tastes like. That's our stock in life, Corellian. It's, we, we live our lives in the eyes of others, the tall folk, those who are in charge of everything, as cattle. Now, I'm going to ask you this, personally. And I'm not asking one part of you or the other. I'm asking both parts. And you can give me two different answers if you want. I'm asking Corellian the soldier and Corellian the person I deeply care about. The person. The kobold. He who is not defined by the experience of his past, but who is a thinking, moral creature. But I am also asking the soldier as well. Malaphane Lythos. Should he be dead or should he be in our group?
Colin sort of growls and pinches his brow with a claw and just sort of looks out across everything, across Baton Rance, across... If you're asking Corellian soldier, Corellian person who only knows war and pain and violence, I would say that Malaphane Lythos is far more an asset than anything else when it comes down to it. Far more someone useful to have with us than against us, despite everything, despite the baggage, despite whatever else. Strategically, it only makes sense. You only get so many powerful people on this plane, in this world, and the more of them you have on your side, the better it is. But if you're asking Curling the person, if you're asking Curling the kobold, if you're asking Corellian person who held a child in their arms and then hurt and then I would tell you that Scam, when I became a paladin, I swore oaths. No, that's the soldier speaking, not me, not the person underneath, not the... And Krellin looks at Scam with just this open, transparent honesty on his face and says, I don't know. Maybe I'm too kind. I don't know.
Scam, reaches up and puts, not his prosthetic arm, his left arm, his still flesh and blood arm up onto Corellian's shoulder and says, it's a really mortal answer. But, I understand what you're saying, so look me in the eyes when I ask you this, and I hopefully don't need to ask for... Hopefully I don't need to provide more context.
Mm-hmm.
And Scam kind of stares into Corellian's eyes for a long time just to let it really connect.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want him gone?
Kind of sort of looks down, looks away, then looks back at Scam and just... It's a hell of a lot to put on someone.
I am sorry, Kay. I wasn't gonna bring this up to you, and I didn't want to, but when you told me shortly ago that you care about me, that you give a shit about me, and when you asked me to be honest with you when it involves my own life, I realized that I could not do anything to risk this, gesturing kind of in the space between them, because I care about you a lot too, and I, much against my own nature, find that I am compelled to tell you and talk about these things with you, instead of just solely acting on my own interests and natures. I won't do anything that you don't want me to do, or at the very least, aren't okay with me doing. I will not have me despoiling probably the one truly great connection I have on this world.
One just sort of takes his claw and puts it over Scam's hand on his shoulder and looks at Scam and says, as much as I would want to say one thing, I could malefate, and I look at Odessa, and I look at myself, and I don't want anyone to go through what I had to go through. So that's my answer. I can have my feelings about the both of them. Nobody deserves that kind of pain. I'm sorry. I know that's not the answer that you were looking for.
No, it is not, but also on the same hand, I will be honest with you and tell you, I don't give a shit about that, but I respect your take. I respect that. I respect you. So if that is your desire for me, then I'll call it off. Malifane Lythos will not die by my own coffers because I respect you.
Merlin sort of like pats Scam's hand on his shoulder and then just sort of like takes it and holds it and just squeezes it.
Scam will give a little squeeze back. But then we face the new problem, of course, of dealing with what he and Quintessa are doing to us.
We can get it sorted. As long as we're all on the same page, we can get it sorted.
All right. I want you to know. It's not I need you to know, but I want you to know. The only reasons that palms have not been greased, that blades aren't in waiting, that he's not being guided like a lamb to the slaughterhouse, is because I needed to know what you wanted.
Thank you Thank you for telling me. I'm glad that I'm, well, not the only one who gives a shit.
Well, you can tell me how much you love me later, but I think we should get back to the rest of the group.
Oh, God.
You're never going to live that down. You're not going to live that down.
No, I'm never going to live that.
Fuck
it. Oh,
right before we died,
God.
the battle, you told me you loved me, and I'm not letting you down.
Did I really say the words love?
Yes,
Did I
you said,
really?
I casted haste on you, and you said, I love you sometime.
Okay, all right. Sometime.
Like, if you want me to cast, I can cast haste on you whenever you want. All you have to do is ask. That's
You
not
are
a problem.
insufferable.
Get a Romeo toe!
I fucking shit them!
All right, Alex, we're done.
All right. So, props to my actors, and we are over time. So that is the end of Fallen Empires. You can join us tomorrow! Surprise! It's a spooky week! We have streams every day this week.
Oh, I'm tomorrow! Yay!
It's you tomorrow! You're playing Bug Game!
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God, we are playing Bug Game
Count
tomorrow.
on fingers.
Yeah.
2 p.m. Central, so tune in as we have more spooky Bug Game time because we won't be having Hollow Knight for a while because the usual stream slot is taken up by...
Because Call of Cthulhu is back on Friday, babies!
Hell yeah! On Wednesday, it's going to be Spooks! Probably Amnesia, honestly. There's a new Amnesia game. Spooks.
Yeah, I convinced Jordan to do the Amnesia game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thursday, we've got Probably Cursed Throne. Please watch Spooky Cursed Throne. Yeah. Saturday, we're going to see about doing more Monster Camp. This time with the short game, because if we don't, I'm going to punch someone to death. And then Sunday is part 2 of the season finale of Discord Murder Party. Thank you all for watching us, and we will see you for more Internet Remix streams. See you in the post show. Bye-bye!
Bye!